Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. If you were tuning in beforehand, I want to let you know that we're sorry we had some technical difficulties, but we're joining you now here on the Bruce Montalvo Show. Black Friday indeed. It is November 13th, 2015, and man, we just having some technical difficulties. We had a great show to ourselves, but it turns out that I don't know, this new Spreaker studio, haven't worked all the bugs out of it yet, but it's just a dire situation what's going on in France with this pretty much just a winter solstice, just the French Illuminati going around, just staging false flag, Gladio-style false flag, black ops. And we covered this. Unfortunately, we were having technical difficulties and nobody except me and Jaja were the ones talking about it. I mean, this is a false flag op. If you're tuning in now, all day you've probably seen on just the Clinton News Network and all the mainstream media outlets just pushing this on, of all days, freaking Friday the 13th, which is pretty much a Masonic holiday going back to the killings of the Masons in France. And now they're killing people in France once again on Friday the 13th at soccer stadiums. Pretty much, you saw this in Batman, folks. You saw it in the scene where Bane is terrorizing the football stadium. It's just predictive programming. Don't you agree, Ja? They're listening now.
Definitely, Bruce. I'm just going to try to help us out and try to get us some...
Again, on Etsy.com, right? You're on Etsy.com? They could help us out there?
No, I'm just trying to get us people to listen to your show. So.
People are listening. I'm the excellence of radio execution worldwide. It doesn't take much to listen to El Gran Montalvo. You just simply tune in to my fantastic stylings, folks. But this is just, like I said, nobody else is going to coin this. It is a Operation Gladio style attack. It is. So far, in a theater where they could just simply use the PA system and on loop have screams and AK-47 sounds, they're confirming 100 dead, over 100 hostages. They had to take Hollande, they had to escort him out of this freaking stadium. He was watching a soccer match, Germany versus France. So yeah, it was the Nazis back in France again. You remember, did you forget the Reichstag? And then you have de Blasio over here in Brooklyn telling us, just hyping us up with all this 9/11 just hysteria, all this 9/11 just dystopia. It's gonna happen here again. Oh, you better be scared of your Arabic deli slanger down the street because he's gonna put arsenic in your cold cuts and he's out to get you. He's gonna get you, right?
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that? You had something brilliant to say. I know you want to say it again.
Remind me about what particularly you want me to get into.
How they're ramping up fear against the just Arabic community when they know for damn sure that it's just the Pope and all his propaganda against these people.
Yes. Yeah. What in particular that I said? Is that you're leading me on? I said a lot of things about Muslims.
That's right. You're saying how they're using this to just galvanize and the Arabic community. Once again, we have to be afraid. De Blasio is going on air, ramping up that 9/11 is going to come back to haunt us due to this ISIS attack, trying to bolster us up for another war with another boogeyman.
Right, and I also said that I also think that in France right now, that's what's happening in Europe, is that they're making, first they get rid of the Jews, now they're going after the Muslims.
That's right. I mean, the Jews and the Muslims lived in peace for centuries, and it wasn't until the dope, who YouTube wants to say is the coolest thing since sliced bread now, saying he's dope. It wasn't since they came around that now you guys are at each other's throats. Or we are at each other's throats.
No, we're not. We have a neighborhood filled with Arabs. We get along
That's
with them
my
very
point.
peacefully. They use Arabs and Jews. But first they purged Europe of all of their Jews, and and now even today they're terrorizing Jewish communities with a lot of anti-Semitism in the media and everywhere. It's synagogues being desecrated and spray painted and rabbis being killed, a couple of years ago. Like, they keep going, like, it's really just targeted toward hatred toward Jews, and there's this insidious undertone that goes on, toward Jews. Not everybody, okay? This is not the norm. This is not there's a lot of Jews that are very cool, and they are friends with a lot of cool French, and there's a lot of French that are cool that have nothing to do with hatred toward Jews. There's a lot of them. But I'm not talking about the cultured people. I'm talking about the scum of the earth that can't make decisions of themselves, that really need to judge other people by some belief system that they might have been born into, that now is like a bloodline that's tainted. But now, okay, with their whole philosophy of tainting a bloodline, that the whole bloodline is tainted, and they don't want to even have a little bit of it, such as Hitler said, or they all kind of propagated back in the Nazi times, that if you have any bit of Judaism and you are still a Jew, even if you convert and become a Baptist or whatever, you get baptized and become a real Christian, or something like that. It doesn't matter, you're still a Jew. So these people really think that the Jews are so horrible that they needed to purge the Jews out of all of Europe, and now they've opened the doors to Lesbos, just like our Ellis Island, and allowed all of the Syrians who are running for their lives into the country, to be absorbed, which I'm okay with, if they spread out, you know what I'm saying? Everybody gets a little bit. And I think I don't believe that these Arabs are doing it. I'm sorry, but those of you who want to disagree with me...
This is Blackwater in Paris. This is niggas in Paris.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is just a black op. This is just Operation Gladio style. And when I say niggas, folks, I mean like Nigga. So we can smoke weed.
No, but you're not trying to hang out with the niggas. You just, whatever. It's just a fucking word, you know what I'm saying? It didn't even...
but really, talk about a Black Friday today, of all days, Friday the 13th, a Masonic freaking just attack in France. That's what I see it as. There's some 9/11 symbolic symbolism. You have just, what is this, a winter solstice? They cracked a couple of eggs to make this black omelet. This black omelette du fromage.
Right. Well, that's interesting that you said niggas, because a lot of haters, people that are racist would call them sand niggas.
They would say, I'm racist.
Right, racist. They would say sand niggas, This is disgusting. But that's how, so if it's a Black Friday and then they have these 6 locations, right, and you have maybe it's a pentagram formation from the topographical, or maybe it's even a swastika because it's 6 locations. Maybe if you connect all 6 points, it's actually a swastika, And
right, like Treblinka and all the other concentration camps.
Right. So there's a sacrifice because maybe it's a witchy day because it's the first day first Friday the 13th after Halloween and Day of the Dead. So it's that time of year, It's like that transitory right before Thanksgiving,
And I mentioned the whole LA, the whole UFO supposed sightings, and that was they want to say it's a missile attack or a missile launch from Los Angeles. You know what it was? It was our directed energy technology. It was just me in a space pod flying back to LA from New York to get some King Taco.
Right.
But they're really just gearing up hysteria just this whole week. Now there's killings in France. There's laser beams being shot over Los Angeles. I mean, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Things are getting nutty.
Yeah, I don't know. Tonight's really crazy, though. I mean, this is a very big deal. It shouldn't really be confused with other things. I think that it is a concerted effort to amp up the New World Order.
Amping it up big time.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they're directing whatever's happening over in Paris in real time over here, in the heart of where Ellis Island, New York, 9/11, and this is where the French gave us the liberty, the Statue of Liberté, and the French are all into the liberation, and then there was the Liberation Army, I mean, and then the Jews were liberated from Germany. Excuse me.
Right. Absolutely. No, it's just Nazi nostalgia. Even in Ellis Island, when we went there, we saw that the whole compound pretty much looked very Germanic. And there's swastikas there, sexual symbolism dating back to just the ancient Chinese.
It was that second island we went to, right
Buddhist.
over Ellis Island. It was the one that had a Thunderbird.
Right. The Horus.
Yeah, right next to it. Right next to Ellis Island. It was another one where they kept the museum.
No, things are just getting nutty, folks. And if you think that the Nazis went defunct, they absolutely did not. And people like Donald Trump, it doesn't get any nuttier than that guy, too. Because that guy's going around, him and his pink Lebensborn bastards, and their one Uncle Tom are going around just getting nuttier and nuttier by the day. I mean, what would you do? What would you do? Would you throw baby Hitler out the window by the foot? Carson says he would save baby Hitler. What do you think of that?
I don't think.
What do you think of baby Hitler?
No, I would save baby Hitler. Sorry, I don't have any bad feelings.
Because he's just a tomato. I mean, they would have put Goebbels. They would have put just Himmler. Anybody, right?
Yeah.
Whoever had the best trench coat.
Yeah. But it's interesting about Hitler's genes, though, the fact that they chose him to enact this, embody with his body this demeanor of control, of violence and force. The fact that his own spawn, Ronda Rousey, Supergirl, Roddy Piper.
They're all over Hollywood.
They're all like really kind of tough guys and angry. And they all have this like fierce.
And they're mean.
They're mean. So Ronda's really mean, huh?
Oh, man. You don't want to piss her off. You better... Again, I'm going to end up fighting her for you if you go down that road. She's the toughest freaking SOB woman there is, I think. Man, and she could take a punch. I mean, a rhino can punch her in the face.
Okay, but you know so much human growth steroids...
Exactly. That's why you see her superciliary just, popping right out of her head, right?
Her legs look like a man. She's so well developed. Even in her best form when she was really fighting.
She's got bigger arms than me.
No, I mean, yeah, it's crazy. But the thing is, you could see the swelling overall, what HGH does to you. I know because I used to box.
Got bigger guns than me.
I used to box for a couple of years, and you have to be careful with HGH. It puffs you up. And the problem with it is that it starts distorting your organs and your bones. So you actually become a guinea pig if you have to keep taking it too much. So in terms of like her physical body, I'm concerned, like not like if she's doing that, when I said, oh, she's big like that, like, I meant like they were beasting her up with that juice and shit because they did that to your boy, the other Aryan looking nigga, the one with the blue eyes.
Brock Lesnar.
That guy, he's a freak, man. He looks like one step away from Neanderthalic. You know what I'm saying? That they reverted him back.
That guy's a freaking Nazi monster.
Yeah, but he's a super soldier. They just keep juicing him. Like, hey, we got a new kind of juice.
Captain Germanic. Captain Visigoth.
I mean,
Captain Nazi.
Yeah, $6 billion people. $6 million fighters. They just become crazy experiments.
Speaking of champions and speaking of fighters. What do you make of Putin? He's become the Freemasonic champion. And you saw him in some blue Masonic regalia ones with George Bush and some China's president.
I just figured it out with Putin.
He's like blowing up ISIS left and right. This whole French attack comes after the death of Jihadi John, the famous green screener who green screened many fake deaths. Just basically the Cobra Commander's sidekick, pretty much. And they whacked al-Baghdadi. So I mean, is this ISIS's freaking like revenge for these guys? I mean, but you figured something out. I mean, Putin is wiping the floor with these guys. But what did you figure out about Putin?
I figured out that Brzezinski's son, Putin, he has pin eyes. And he looks, his drug of choice, because all these guys have drugs of choice, right? I mean, Hitler was juiced up with vitamins from Theodore Morel, the odor.
Yeah.
Morel.
That guy smelled like shit.
Yeah, so I think Putin's on heroin. You know, he'd be taking that Afghan poppy seeds. You know what I'm saying?
He'd be looking way too cool in some pictures.
Yeah,
like,
he's not.
You know, he thinks he's like 007 with that Rosicrucian Francis Bacon signature or whatever.
This nigga be doing caviar and heroin and poppy seeds. Some dude like smoking opium. That's what
we just mentioned 007.
He's smoking opium and eating caviar.
Hey, he looks like that guy from 007 too. Remember I showed you where they shoot him off the freaking train and he supposedly falls to his death? I said he looks just like Putin.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, he does.
That whole 007 symbolism, he's pretty much just Jesuit freaking city. We're talking about it was either this or the clergy. I think they mentioned in the movie. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just a blatant homage to who's really running the joint, who's really giving Hillary her talking points, who's really giving Trump his talking points, and that's Tavistock, who pretty much runs all of 007's Rosicrucian little signing operations.
Absolutely.
Which is exactly what this French attack, this French Illuminati attack, this shotgun attack in the restaurant, shotgun attack, explosions in soccer stadiums, you name it. Just this hell,
it's
this pandemonium that's broken loose.
It looks too designed. First of all, this whole incident tonight has looked very, very designed. 6 places, some are theaters. Okay, you have the whole theater element.
100 dead, 100 hostages. Hollande had to be escorted out of the stadium.
111 right this second.
6 different attacks. As Germany was just happening to play France.
It's still going on. Okay, and it's happened on Friday the 13th, while Friday the 13th is still going on.
Coordinated attacks. I mean, these were no slouches. This was Blackwater. This was just Blackwater's finest mercenaries. This was Operation Gladio-style attacks. Look it up, folks.
Well, the person, if I was an orchestrator, if I worked at Tavistock and I was Eisner's
confirmed agent.
If I was Eisner's grandson and I was part of the planning team and discussing, who, what, and where, I would maybe want to see something happen in a theater. You know what I'm saying? Where it becomes theatrical.
A rock concert, something right out of the Illuminati card game.
A soccer game. A movie theater, wherever.
Right out of the Illuminati card game.
In a theater, folks, that should raise a bell. There were 3 how many theaters already are there?
And you know what they have on loop? You know what they have on loop in the news? They have screams and gunfire on loop. I mean, pretty much the newsreels are confirming and denying that ISIS is taking credit for it. They're saying the attackers were killed. Like I said, this is a Gladio-style black op.
Yep.
Theaters, anywhere that has to do with the civilian population, the shadow government with this black budget pays these mercenaries to go out there and just raise hell, folks.
Totally. I mean,
put the fucking glasses on.
It's all about the power of the spectacle, and they are using the media to scare us. They want to take away our liberties in the name of liberty. By giving these other people, absorbing them and giving them supposed liberty, there's the concept of liberty, and then they gave us the Statue of Liberty, which is ISIS, which is Colombia.
That's why France is our ally. That's why France is going to help us go and start this undeclared, unconstitutional war with a manufactured enemy abroad. That's why they got our back. I mean, even that Satanist Benjamin Franklin knew that if you give up essential liberties for security for the government, it's asinine.
Yeah. Well, if he's the one,
and he had 12 bodies under his house.
Right. Well, he's the one who said it, because what they do is that they come off as legal and ethical while at the same time, pulling on underneath their masons.
And he was just like Bond. He was just like Bond. He was a Rosicrucian spy.
Exactly. I mean, there's just we only have whatever the Masons let us read. Do you know how many books they ripped up and burned, and changed up history?
You know what this was? This was Paris Killers. It was a scene right out of Congé West, Blackwater niggas in Paris. And I'm telling you, that's niggas with the NIGGA smoke weed all day.
Yeah.
This is just a bumble clot of a false flag, was it not?
Well, what you mean by a false flag is you mean that it was designed and used for the power of the spectacle for some kind of military operation. It doesn't necessarily mean in false as there might not be bodies that turn up. It meant that it was false and mean false as it's not a terrorist attack that was from a foreign entity. It was internal.
It was manufactured.
It was manufactured.
Just like the Charlie Hebdo. Who Rothschild had bought the magazine Charlie Hebdo before the attacks went down, so it was just staged.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the clips, the gifs. I mean, the guy didn't even blow that guy's head off. It was like an air gun or whatever. He wasn't even bleeding. It was
but you know the power of
complete
imagery.
Smith Act propaganda.
Okay, all they need is the known fact or the seemingly known fact in their mind through the news. This is what's happening without pictures. Then they'll release a picture or a loop of a sound or a little video snippet of a fake body being taken to with a cloth over it, being taken to an ambulance. Whatever they might show to you that will prove to you,
like with Ebola,
it's
a complete hoax,
or give you enough visual stimulus to satisfy your any doubt or question in your mind, because maybe you would start thinking, oh, maybe I don't want to show us the blood. Well, okay, I want mad witnesses. Where's all the street witnesses? Where's all the people with the cameras? I want to see the video footage. I want video footage. I want stuff that was taken from cameras inside the theaters.
Oh, the attackers are already dead from the chips that they put in the freaking head that are RFID'd, and they just emitted just some ELF wave that blew their freaking head up like at a Tenacious D concert.
Okay, so then if it really happened, then there'll be video footage, and some of it might even be released or leaked, like everything else.
But
is
it
leaked.
Never gets leaked. Did you see any pictures of at the Charleston shooting? Any blood from the freaking pews? You didn't. You didn't see anything. You never see anything.
Right.
There's nothing to see here, like Officer freaking Barbrady.
Okay, so this is very different than the Jews being sacrificed in Auschwitz, in Treblinka, in Bergen-Belsen, in Auschwitz.
This is all reality TV, just like the GOP, just like the Republicans. This year, there's no third party. That's what it is. It's all just a constructive New World Order paradigm, and they all want us to fall into it and believe that it's terror and believe that we have to go to war with ISIS, even though we fund ISIS and we give them all their Toyotas, and we have to just buy into all this good government bullshit.
So you're saying that this is not like the Holocaust, where they actually set up concentration camps on 6 different spots and actually burned bodies in chimneys.
I don't
You're
know.
saying
I mean,
that there might not be bodies.
I'm sure they. You know what? I can't say that because I'm not in France. I'm not reporting live from the scene at France, and I'd be one of the only reporters that have the balls to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm telling you, they had to have cracked a couple of eggs to make this black omelette du fromage.
Okay.
This black op.
So you think they definitely killed some people?
Yeah, some targeted individuals, somebody they wanted to get off the payroll to make the crowd control get rowdy, for them to have a reason to do crowd control, have their agents in place, you know what I'm saying? And it's all very orchestrated. This is a very well orchestrated just psyop.
I see.
This is a psychological operation. This is propaganda. No different than with this Goodfellas freaking Brooklyn trial, the P2 Masonic Lodge pedophiles, and YouTube, who's making the Pope dope now. I mean, that's who's running the joint. That's who's running the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's who's got Arabs against Arabs, and that's who paid for Michelle Bachmann to go to Israel and try to convert Jews on the freaking Via Dolorosa while fingering herself and her husband getting diddled by freaking Fanoiks. How
do you know she's fingering herself?
Because you said that earlier when we weren't on air.
Yeah, when we weren't on air. I was talking. You were saying that she
was a
very
missionary. Triple X.
You said she was a missionary.
Could you believe that story though? First and foremost,
she's trying to be a missionary.
No, she's going to Israel to try to convert as many Jews to Christianity as possible. I mean, she's being a good little Jesuit slut.
No, but you see, the whole thing in Judaism is it's supposed to be, and this is really the truth. I mean, you're not supposed to go around proselytizing your religion. I mean, that's what the Jews are told. So then she goes ahead to Israel and proselytizes to Jews, and Jews are going to laugh at her. I mean, so she's being used as a...
I mean, she's banging herself out on the Via Dolorosa trying to get the Jews to convert to Mithraism.
The Jews are going to... I mean, the Israelis are going to look at her like a kook from America, and she looked like she maybe took too much acid or something. I mean, there's no relationship to that American, the shock value, hokey, pokey, freaking trying to,
Yeah, she's gone plain nutty like Khamenei, Camel Toe out of Iran. That Persian Guido.
What I find interesting is that somebody's punking her to the biggest extent because she. I mean, obviously she must know that she's making a big ass out of herself. Okay, because I'm sure she's been confronted by some people and looked at her like she was fucking nuts and had like 3 eyes and like 2 heads, like the woman from the American Horror Show. You know what I'm saying? Like a little Siamese twins. Like she's probably walking around Israel like, and they're looking at her like she's a freak show. So I mean, this woman is completely gone one step away from loony bin, and they put her in a position of being a missionary. And missionary is weird because then you think of sex, right? Like missionary position, and then you tell me before Bruce that she is not even getting it sex. Her husband is getting it, like
he's getting it. He's getting in the booty. They used to run some type of reformed gays type of thing.
So she's running around going,
for Jesus.
So they're having ass butt sex, and she's running around going missionary, missionary. And they're going ass butt. She's going missionary, missionary.
It's ludicrous.
Okay, so that's what's going on.
It's just as ludicrous as the GOP pink bastards, the pink Lebensborn bastards, and that Uncle Tom talk about what they would do with baby Hitler. I mean, it's become asinine. These people are just out of their freaking mind. They're beyond just cartoony, just reality TV show, fake toupee, has some audacity, some nerve on Veterans Day to forget Mexican-American veterans like Ismael Villegas and Eugenio Obregón and the Bracero. Insult the Braceros who basically made this country what it is today. Braceros, who were oppressed under Operation Wetback. All right, this Lebensborn son of a bitch. Why don't you self-deport, Trump? Why don't you lead by example and self-deport you and that fake fucking toupee you have on your head? Get your fat pink ass right out of friggin' America or the Fourth Reich. What, you think you own this land because the Operation Paperclip that gave you some papers? Is that it? Lead by example, homo. All right? And I could say that. Homogeneous. He's Homo erectus. All right? It's a word. Homogeneous milk. I could say this. Okay, well, really, he what he is a sleazy freaking pimp, isn't he?
There really is an Operation Wetback.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, before I went into this Trump tirade, the Braceros were the ones that helped build the infrastructure of the United States while people were being drafted to go fight overseas in World War II. And these were Mexican-American, Mexican immigrants who came here and built up America. They worked just on the railroads, they worked in the agriculture, they worked in steel.
From 42 to 64. But yeah.
And they were oppressed. They were oppressed before the Japanese Americans were put into concentration camps. I mean, they were just treated like garbage after they had their own people enlist in the army and do the ultimate sacrifice and fight for this army. Over 40 Latino American recipients to the Medal of Honor. And for people like Trump to come out on Veterans Day and try to spit on their faces, I find to be appalling. He's a pompous ass, and I better not ever be in the same room as Trump because I'm going to give him a right hook from hell. I hope that Gennady Golovkin gave him some pointers when he met him. I saw him hanging out with him in Madison Square Garden. I hope he showed him how to throw a left-right combo because Trump I'm going to punch that freaking toupee right off your head for your insolence against my people. I defend my
That's
people.
all he's good for anyway, is just like some worldwide wrestling, Vince McMahon, hyped up, lunatic, fringe talk show host. That's all he could be for me, because he's about as interesting, as somebody that's an actor. He's got nothing interesting. Well, interesting is funny, is different. But intellectual or real or, come on, man, you got to talk about somebody's looks.
You have a deportation force?
Okay, you're talking about an actual issue.
Latinos will burn his freaking Trump Towers down. That's why when we went in there to his Trump Tower in New York, 15 minutes later, we see Pix 11, or we see my Twitter feed, and homeboy Trump was packing heat. You don't like El Gran Montalvo.
Yeah,
man.
it was really synchronizing.
I picked the lock.
Back to back.
I picked the lock, and I went in the blast.
Back to back, like Operation Wetback. You know what I'm saying?
Hey. Operation Fuck You, Trump, you Lebensborn pink son of a bitch.
Yeah, let me just say something about Trump Plaza. First of all, there's nothing going on there anymore. Second of all,
it is so farty and duddy. I wanted to get the hell out of there.
Okay, this is the one by Tiffany's. It looks like, it used to be a little bit luxurious. There were shops. I think I got my hair cut there once. But it was like nice, and there were like little restaurants, and there was kind of cool people, pretty people around. There was nobody there. There was one little Dookie jewelry store. I don't know who could be staying there. Maybe they still use it as a hotel. There was no amenity. There was nothing like, there was one little like stupid pub area. Looked like some mafia guys probably meet there and stuff, you know.
Right. It looks like something out of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, 1960s. But pool cabana, little flamingo, just umbrella drinks.
But nobody was there, and nobody was there. It was like ghosts. So Trump Plaza was only activated when our 4 feet walked through it up to the top. There was nothing, no shops, nothing. And then we come down, and this guy's popping the Glock. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. You know, we just thought it was mad crazy synchronizing, you know? Like Trump had the MO and stuff on our GPS. They knew our local.
No, he knew that I picked the lock at his Trump Tower. I got in there.
That's right.
Right.
That's the first thing you said, is that, sound the alarms. Bruce is walking in.
Tell you another place I ended up in. The GCPD, Gotham City MCU. Remember, I took a picture right in front of GCPD's headquarters. Detective Gordon took a picture of Master Bruce.
Yeah. Right. It's about 100.
So many people call me a criminal. I figured it'd be fitting.
About 100 feet from our house. 100 feet is where they filmed the front of the precinct in Gotham.
Oh, that's because I'm Batman. They got to film it near my cave.
That's right. And we just happen to live down the block from a school that's very gothic looking, and that has 2 big owls with erections at the pillars.
2 big Liliths.
2 owls with erections.
Watching the pineal glands of the children.
On a high school. Erections, hard-ons. The owls have hard-ons on the top of the pillars.
Absolutely.
It's sick. It's disgusting. I don't know why anybody doesn't see it. It's like they're laughing at these kids.
You didn't see it till I told you.
I didn't see it. No, I didn't, Bruce. Your eyes are amazing.
It's what I do.
I can't believe you noticed that. That was like incredulous. We had to take a picture and really look at it and examine it from all angles.
It happened the first couple of days I was in Brooklyn too.
You spotted those owls, and I knew that. I always saw owls around here. I told you. I showed you a few.
I'm actually doing a mini documentary, going around and looking at the Masonic symbolism of New York. So be sure to stick around, stay tuned, and catch that on Exposed News on YouTube. You're going to see that. Me and Jah go everywhere. We're going to have big things. I mean, all the sites where you see just the most abhorrent, occult, just blatant, in-your-face symbolism, I'll be there.
That's right.
Right?
We just got to keep Army intel out of the house.
Oh, they're everywhere. They even dress up as Rastafarians,
or
and
African,
or their FBI informants, or you don't know what they come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, they were
COINTELPRO of all kind.
It's amazing how the Bobo Shanti dude, you know, with the 50 necklaces. Every time you walk out of the house, this guy is like every time you go to the post office,
which is a socialist compound or the Army PSYOP recruiting center. He's always around those areas.
You see him every single time going, not in the same place, and we're not going the same direction at the same angle.
And these are operatives. These are domestic freaking Army PSYOPs, just agents.
Would you call that gang stalking? Would you call that even though he looks like he's doing something? The fact
he's
that
gang stalking the American people, yes.
But do you feel like he's gang stalking you? I mean, he's been in front of the house.
Look, if somebody gang stalks me, I mean, your house becomes the neighborhood. You know that in Brooklyn. So pretty much, if I feel like someone's gang stalking me, I'm gonna grab a 2x4 like that guy from WWF back in the day with that 2x4 and the American flag. I'm just gonna just jack Jim Duggan. I'm a Jim Duggan his ass.
You know what's going to do if the minute you push him down? That Bubble Shanti turban
he's going to put a curse on me and I'm going to get skinny like in Stephen King's Thinner.
Uh-huh.
Even though I'm already skinny and not to imply I'm fat. I mean, I'll take my shirt off on air right now and I'll get jealous. But you know what I'm saying? She doesn't want me to show the world my bodacious freaking shotguns.
Right. But what I was going to say is that in his turban are all these like recording equipment. It's like spy equipment.
Oh yeah, he's just rigged. His shoes are rigged.
He's practicing man. He speaks with an accent.
He's got a wire everywhere. He's wired.
And then you saw him in the army compound. So anyway, that's what we deal with in Brooklyn, and they're trying to scare us. De Blasio with this Diablo. He's trying to be like all serious and we heard it on 1010 Wins, you know. It was like mad austere, you know, and very severe. Austere and severe. And how we all need to look up to him to assure that it's not going to happen here. So I don't know. This is New York.
All this 9/11 nostalgia trying to mix it in with a little French Illuminati. What are they making, a coffee? It sounds like some type of freaking coffee or something.
What?
French Illuminati with a little bit of 9/11.
Illuminati?
Yeah. Sounds like some type of mochaccino.
Is that what they call the group?
No, that's what Hollande called the Illuminati. He called them the Illuminati.
Right.
Omelette du fromage.
Omelette du fromage.
You know, the Mexicans beat the crap out of the French with pitchforks. You know, that's one thing that it's not taught in your history books. I mean, we fight more than Itchy and Scratchy. That's why our flag has two animals on it killing each other.
Don't get into a fight with the Mexicans. Listen, you guys...
Haven't you seen Mexican boxers? I mean, they get punched like 9 times just to give you one left hook from hell.
Try not to fight with Bruce because, you know, he will punch, and you don't want that. He's very strong.
Well, you've heard the stories, you from family members that say, oh, yeah, this guy used to fight in the middle of the street with, like, 3 meth heads while just trying to go down the street to buy a Bud Ice and a blunt.
You came from a very
that's what you had to do. If I wanted a Bud Ice and a blunt, I had to go down the street to Bin Laden's, which was my liquor store, past the Circle K, because Circle K was too expensive, so I had to go behind to the nitty and the gritty, just the alley. You know what I'm saying? Bin Laden's. And you come back, and then you got to, like, watch out for 3 meth heads. 2 have teeth, and 1 has... dentures, just 1 tooth each. You gotta freaking tango with these guys. You gotta dance with these guys like Johnny Cage.
Yeah, it's really like cowboy and Indian style where you come from.
Everybody's against everybody. You can't go to Del Taco down the street without worrying about the cop trying to get you for your light. You got 1 light out, or if you're not driving, people trying to jump you. I mean, it's really all hell's breaking loose over there.
Yeah, it could get like that in some
It's the perfect place for a civil war. That's why they have Army PSYOPs and Intel over there just instigating like hell everywhere, really. Everywhere. From Baltimore to Cali, everywhere. New York. You got Army PSYOPs, not just in Brooklyn. Everywhere. And they were in France. They got Blackwater in France. They're the ones that are doing this, ladies and gentlemen. Put the glasses on. Seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever it's called, Academy or whatever
they change their name every week.
Yeah, it's probably like l'Étoile, like the star.
L'Omelette du fromage, Illuminati.
The quiche.
The Pope talks about. I heard the dope who YouTube now thinks is so cool. They're saying he's dope, even though I call him a dope. a Masonic pedophile pope. They're going around saying that he's praising his alumni. Well, even that term in itself is a cult, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you graduate, you get a degree, right? It's already sounding very Masonic. You get a degree. Eventually, you become alumni at your school, right? What's alumni mean? Illuminated. So there you go. You're not supposed to want to go to the light if you die. I think that's because the Pope's just going to swallow you up if you do. He's just going to be at the end of that light with his fangs to just rip your freaking head off. That's what I think.
I mean, it means you suffered through the brainwashing process. Doesn't mean that you believed it, though. If you were strong enough, you knew not to let it get to you.
I can't wait to exhibit my art of the Pope, which I call the Poop, under my slave name. The art I created called the Poop will be available at every museum worldwide. Worldwide.
Yes, worldwide on the internet.
Yes.
For $2.99 a signed copy.
That's right. I'm gonna have it on eBay soon. The
digital
Poop.
Print.
If you want a signed autographed copy of the Poop, just stay tuned and you'll get it. But if you want to help me defeat the Poop, I need your help, folks. I need you to go to Antique Obsession. I need you to listen to Ja very carefully. Listen to me very carefully. Okay.
We got 2 stores, right? They're hot. It's Christmas time. Bling, bling, bling. Jingle bells. Batman smells. Robin lays an egg. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody get in the mood,
I lost the wheel.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. You got to save money. We got a 50% off sale right now for your ruffians. Is that what you call it? Roughnecks, for your little thuggians, for your spiritual healer types, for your little witches. You know what I'm saying? We got
ruffians, hooligans,
tribal, all this Burning Man freakazoid. That we got conceptual subculture. That's at Etsy.com, and you can just Google that. It's one word. Conceptual subculture. You can type in Etsy.com/shop/conceptual subculture, or just go to Etsy.com. Just type in conceptual subculture, one word. You'll see the shop. You'll see 50% off sale. We have amazing things with copper, with real rubies, with jade. I got turquoise. We have sterling silver and tiger's eye and sapphires and rings.
Beautiful emeralds.
Chokers, all kinds of cuffs, all kinds of different things, necklaces, earrings, you name it, And we got stuff for men too, copper cuffs. We got more stuff. We have to make more. Everybody's been buying them, so we have to make more, Bruce. But then we have the other store, which is more like very Rococo, Victorian, Art Nouveau. We repurpose like antique, sterling. We do anything.
Absolutely. And if you want to talk about a hedge against inflation, I mean, we're selling silver right here, ladies and gentlemen. You want silver? You want to look good while you represent your money?
Right, exactly.
Come on.
It's not like, what we saw, we went to Saks, I was looking at, and some of this stuff is they're charging like $600-700 and it's plastic, I mean, not to diss Michael Kors design, but like it's steel.
Garbage.
It's rose-colored steel. You know what I'm saying? We're selling solid sterling silver. I mean, I just made this gorgeous bracelet. I don't even know,
Gorgeous.
It's just
gorgeous.
drop dead. I mean, it's like, it should be like $16,000. You know what I'm saying? It should be in a museum, and I should even talk to some of the museums about it because it's so freaking beautiful.
Yeah, we should show it at the Whitney.
Yeah, I should. Anyway, it's just repoussé, and it's a girl, and it's got chains dripping down it, really gothic, really high, thick, chaste.
Looks like something they shouldn't have worn at Salem.
Oh, it looks something out of like.
They get profiled right away.
It looks something that they should wear on American Horror Story. It's so, I mean,
Jessica Lange should have it on.
It's something like that.
AKA Hillary Clinton.
It would look beautiful on them. They would look very beautiful on them. Well, the cherubs.
It would look better on them than it would on Trump, because all you need is a little bit of makeup, and that guy would look like divine. But anyway, go on. Tell them where they can get it. Antique Obsessions.
Go to Antique Obsessions is one word. Etsy.com/shop/Antique Obsessions. Just look around. We have more things coming. We keep posting things almost every other day. just total things sell really quickly. So if you want something, I could reserve it, or maybe hook you up with a little bit of a price. We'll give you a coupon if you want, but just hit us up first. Give you 15% off. Just tell us that this is your. Just say Bruce. Say what up, Jaja. What up, Bruce?
Coupon code Bruce.
Yeah, no, we don't have a coupon code. Okay, that coupon code is DIDED. Okay.
Well, get another one. Damn it.
I know we need to get it. So
it's Christmas time.
I know it's Christmas time, Holmes.
Yeah, you got some explaining to do.
We're gonna sing Christmas songs or Hanukkah songs.
I don't know if we're gonna sing any songs because today's supposed to be the end of the world as we know it again. All right, the Jesuits are probably behind this story in USA Today. Space debris to collide with the Earth on Friday the 13th. You see, this is the day from hell. Mm-hmm. Everything bad is supposed to happen today, and you had a very...
It did happen. It did happen. Guess what happened?
You had a very significant theory.
Your show screwed up.
Yes, it did on Friday the 13th.
They were doing a sacrifice.
Right out of the Twilight Zone, just like with Ben Carson and Hitler's Baby. But look, you had a very impressive theory behind what this debris could be. You said there was some type of mirrors. I mean, they're saying it's over 500,000 pieces of space junk that NASA, aka Nazi, is monitoring.
Okay.
So what's going on with this?
So the theory is this. The fact is that right now they had just recently, the past week, had an incident off of California. Two incidences in California, you said?
That's right, yes. These L.A. UFO sightings that then the ONI, who just goes around talking about Bigfoot every night, wants you to believe was a Trident missile, when really it was something out of either Star Wars type technology or Project Bluebeam, who we have exposed at Sony Wonder. I mean, what was it? Oh, no, I know what it was. It was me in a space pod going back to LA to get some King Taco. That's what it was. It was me.
Right.
It was a super Sephardim. It was me. El Gran Sephardim.
Okay, Hunter Thompson.
Yes.
Von Albensleben.
Anyway, go on. Tell them the truth.
The theory is that this has been a little bit of a, like a science convention for these guys. They just figure out a strategic location, and the New World Order is just basically experimenting with their weaponry. All right, the space junk is a joke. All right, sounds like the name of some Japanese post-pop punk band.
Some type of prog rock band.
Some cheesy bullshit, right? So that space junk, where the hell's it been for the past, 2,000 years? I don't know, space junk on the planet. Show me some space junk.
Space junk.
Show me a museum where there's some space junk. Fuck that space junk shit. Straight up, okay? That's a bunch of hooey.
Hooey.
1, 2, 3. Hooey.
Like the president, Barry Soetoro.
Yeah.
President Hui.
Yeah. So this is what it is. This is what it looks like to me, because the contour and the form is so defined, the sphere. It looks to me like they shot something up into space. All right. Enough that it would be big enough to shoot, and maybe it doesn't look like anything but a refraction or reflection and a refraction of what else is going on in the sky. See, it looks like an actual space ship that is a circle.
Wow.
That's a sphere that's almost cloaked. That is cloaked, but it's cloaked with mirrors. There's a mirror. If you were to take LED, you can even do cloaking with LED lights.
So you think it's a result of something they shot up in the sky and it's just falling down?
I don't believe it's falling
because
down.
They even nuked the Salton Sea. I mean, that's right on a fault line.
Okay,
what are they trying to do? Trigger some type of 9.9? No. I mean, just mass hysteria, really. But go on.
No, that's a satellite.
It's a satellite.
Yeah. If you were to put LED lights around the Hindenburg, or a blimp, right?
This is a Hindenburg.
Okay, if you were to, the LEDs are so like razor point 3D these days that you remember those old Jesus cards that would blink?
Old Mithra cards. Yes.
The way they blink in Jesus.
Blinking Mithra.
And you just tilt it a little bit. Well, they've already, and I used to work with this guy, Tim White. He was the one that came up with it. It was like a more digitized, fine micro point where of that whole shifting. If you walk, so when you walk like through an airport, for example, you can have like 6 different images just by the increments that you're walking, the pictures are changing, just like the blinking eye of the Jesus, right? So if you were to take this technology and you put this on LEDs on a real like structure, like like a plane, that's not a plane, it's a round space vehicle of some kind of a satellite, right? And you put that and it's blinking and it's constantly changing. So it's changing, so that's how it becomes cloaked through LED lights, all put on the outside.
Well, you mentioned airport.
You can change the pictures also.
You mentioned airport. This is truly the time of the Nazi that is portrayed on the mural of the Denver airport. Mm-hmm. That is really, from aerial view, a swastika.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there is that,
Okay, all these pink bastards like Donald Trump should lead by example and self-deport because they're going around and they've taken complete control. So you know damn well they're not going to self-deport. You're going to have to deport them yourself. But you people are too stupid to see that. You're probably praising these type of scumbags. But they're the ones that are lying. I mean, last time I checked, he's a Jesuit. This news of this space debris was probably put out by a Jesuit. It's just Jesuit central.
It's cover up. Most people's gonna go hooey, and then the other people go, oh, how interesting, and actually believe that it is actual junk that might even hit the Earth. So I think it looks like part of an experiment that's been going on all week. That's been taking place from maybe different launch pads around the world, all coordinated by several. I think that it's probably a few countries that are in agreement and accord with each other to allow this to happen.
Well, they're in accordance, just like the Georgia Guidestones. They want to keep humanity, this whole population control, this Nazi eugenics. They pretty much want to keep us under 500 million. Again, who built that? The Rosicrucians built that. What's trending right now? 007, who was a Rosicrucian spy. Francis Bacon. The signature is 007. John Dee would sign it 007. And these are all.
Is that true?
Yes.
The Rosicrucian, the magician, the black magic.
They
John
would
Dee?
sign 007.
Oh, yeah,
and he worked for the Queen. So I'm telling you. That's why in this new 007 movie they mentioned that it was either this or the priesthood.
So this would be a perfect example of the cloaked space debris. It would be a perfect kind
They're
of
all in
cover.
accordance. They're all in accordance.
It's like magic. It's like
to psyop us, to
illusion.
eventually just incrementally kill us off or, make us winter solstice sacrifices, because that's what I think these French attacks, if they did in fact spill any blood over there, which they're not showing, that's what it is. On Friday the 13th of all days. Mm-hmm. A black Masonic Friday.
But it's different than the Holocaust, where they actually use the bodies they use the blood and the skin and the bones of Jews to...
Well, you saw that at Yad Vashem, right?
Yeah, they actually use them and they burn them in the...
So sad.
They were burning them in those particular chimneys, in those concentration camps. You said that all 6 of them.
That's right.
All of them was it Jewish star? No, it was just 6 of them.
It was not a Jewish. It was a pentagram.
It was a pentagram.
It was a line. Pope Pius strategically gave the order. The Vatican gave the order to eradicate the Jews. He gave Himmler the orders, the final solution, and it was strategically placed in the form of a pentagram, just like you see how the founding Freemasons freaking did it in Washington D.C.
Okay, so each point of the pentagram was a place where they were burning bodies in a chimney of all the 5 locations of the concentration camp. And now there's 6 different points right now. We haven't seen them or drawn them out. And it might be either a Jewish star or it could even be a swastika. We'd have to really look at the points. Or maybe it's nothing. But what's interesting is that there are 6 different locations, and we should look at them and scrutinize a little bit because it could be either symbolic or realistic, but the symbolism and the ultimate message of the whole thing is that they're trying to take away people's liberties and allow for total chaos. This is Europe's fault. This has nothing to do with New York. They want to allow all the Arabs in after killing millions of Jews, allowing for the killing. They should just allow millions of Arabs and then take over. Who the fuck cares? I don't give a fuck.
I completely disagree with you 199%.
Why?
I don't want to see.
They killed six
I don't want to
Jews.
see the desecration of America's way of living.
Not
These
America. I said Europe.
Well,
Europe is the place.
Even Europe.
Europe's the land that killed the Jews. They should just. They killed them. They disappeared. They went scatter. They're still going leave. Then absorb 6 million Arabs and let them breed all over your country.
Who are you absorbing? You're absorbing guys that the. Can you please let me finish? You're absorbing people who are radical, just manufactured mercenaries for the U.S. They know who they're absorbing. They're not absorbing anybody. They're putting their own sleeper cells, their own MK Ultra Tavistock killers in there. Mind-controlled killers. They're putting their own James Bonds to infiltrate and cause things like they did today. They get together and they cause just havoc of high-scale proportions. This is what you're going to get, unfortunately. I mean, does that mean we profile and scapegoat the entire Muslim community? No, I don't have any ill will towards the deli slanger down the street who just happens to be a Muslim. Okay, I don't have any ill will for the lady
this has nothing to do with what I'm trying to say. Commander. I got you. What I'm trying to say is not about ill will. It's not ill will toward the Muslim people at all. This has ill will toward the people that allow for the desecration and the killing of Jews. They hate the Jews so much. Well, if you hate the Jews, then okay, here, you could take them then. The Jews didn't do well enough for culture and for education and for science and for math over in Europe. They didn't want them, so they killed them. And now, go ahead, let the Arabs and see what they do.
Many people knock Israel, saying that they've taken so much of this so-called Palestinian land when everybody knows Judea, and it goes back, ladies and gentlemen, that's their land.
Oh, we took the the Jews.
But the Jews, the Jewish state, have given up more land in the name of peace to the Palestinians.
That's true too.
To this defanged
and the Egyptians.
Abbas. To this freaking just toothless vampire.
But don't you love it, Bruce? Is that Israel gets blamed for taking like a couple of acres of land or something, a couple of miles of land, but we can go in there and blow Syria to smithereens.
Well, not just
and
that,
nobody
Yemen,
says anything.
Afghanistan.
Yemen's not as doing that
everywhere,
bad though.
Everywhere.
Yemen is not as bad. They haven't really done Yemen like they did Libya and everybody else.
Libya especially.
And Iraq. You know
Iraq.
What I'm saying? And Afghanistan.
Definitely.
So I'm saying, like, we don't. Nobody. Everybody wants to bash Israel, but like nobody really looks hard.
Yeah, who gave Hamas the M-pads? It was Hillary.
Hillary, yeah, you know,
Hillary's operation.
I know she personally did. She said, "You know, I got some M-pads here. They're like sitting in my office. I got nothing to do with them. I'm supposed to give them to you guys." I could just see her doing that, Bruce. Give me a break.
That's what happened.
Yeah, it's Hillary.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Excellence of Radio Execution every Friday. We had some technical difficulties, but we went ahead and just kicked Friday the 13th's ass. You've been listening to the best in alternative media, exposing what the others are too afraid to expose. I'm Bruce Montalvo, joined by
Jaja.
And we'll catch you on the flip side every Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, live from the epicenter of cool, Brooklyn, New York.
Peace.
Talk to you later. Hasta la vista.
Did we do okay? This is on the repeat, you think?
We did. See you later, guys.
Missed nothing, right?